going to be doing a live broadcast, a little ARCHIVLOG of really just explaining my latest project, why I'm passionate about it, utilizing Sketchup, Autocad, hand sketching. I'll be talking a little bit about Rhino and Grasshopper. What else? This is just going to be an introduction to what the future of this channel might be. I've got 220 subscribers plus right now. Got a couple 100,000 views on my Google Plus page, which has been a really good turnout. And I'm really looking forward to just continuing to network, continuing to inspire young minds and mastermind with like-minded people and really see what happens. So thank you guys for checking me out. Welcome to the vlog, welcome to the channel. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you like what I'm saying, if you believe in my views as a designer, because I do focus on architecture, but I do a lot of focus on philosophy of life and green living, designers, entrepreneurs, technology. It's I really stay away from politics because I'm not really a political type of guy. However, there are certain things regarding artists and entrepreneurs that are pretty political that I do dive into a little bit of. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you guys to my Instagram page at Modern Masterpiece. So, let's check that out there. So here's my the Instagram page, and as you can see, I do post quite a bit. But definitely looking forward to posting a lot more. Today was a pretty nice day actually. I took this along a walk, and I was going down the street and strolling through a neighborhood and thinking to myself, do I agree with the way that this was designed? And of course, as designers, there's going to be those things where we're not going to agree with anybody. We're going to think that we are the masters and that no one else is valid. I mean, be honest, and that's just what most of us think about. But what I came to realize is I don't have to like this neighborhood, but if I could somehow understand their perspective of why they did what they did, and if I could make sense of what I'm doing, that would make me a lot happier, as opposed to just saying, you know what, this neighborhood sucks, or why don't they use photovoltaics or thermal heating or cooling or whatever. You know, instead of me pointing the finger that way, I'd rather just say, you know what, I could probably live with that. And so one thing I want to be talking about is this particular project here. And this mamma jamma is a fabricated model, an architectural form or an architectural mass of a project that I did when I was at the campus, Academy of Art University, on site. Now let me show you where this project came from. See if I can, and you can see some of the developments here that I'm working on. Figuring out how big it's going to be, real world scale, as far as when I print out the second model. Debating on whether I should do 1/4 inch or 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch thick acrylic and chipboard. So I kind of drew out the scale there to see how big would this model actually be, and did I feel like that size would be enough to give me a better feel of that building. Lots of shout outs coming, for sure, lots of shout outs coming. Let's see if I can find lots of selfies. Oh yeah. It's not too far from here actually. It was before my birthday. Okay. So here's a pretty good view of it. This is like the main attraction of this particular architectural mass that I really enjoyed. it is literally 34 shapes, or technically it's 2 shapes that have been sliced 32 to 34 different times, and you know, literally built from 2-dimensional shapes, made it into 3-dimensional mass, and I've turned that mass into this, which is a single rendering of this particular building. The different contrast might be special things in this building that I don't know yet, because as I've been learning about parametric modeling, there's a lot of things I could do on the facade and programmatic analysis as far as making the building orient a certain direction and determining where my passive heating units are going to go, or you know, certain voids in the building that would create certain drafts of wind to provide areas with more airflow and areas with less airflow for those who may prefer that. And here's another view of it. Shout out to Judy, took me to a phenomenal bar in San Francisco. Here's all the stacks in my hand, just to give you an idea of the size. And here's actually gluing it together. So I'm going to make a second video showing this, and what I might do actually is put together a time-lapse showing this, the computer work digitally in Illustrator, and then doing another broadcast of the time-lapse once I've fabricated it again. So that's going to be kind of an interesting thing, is to see, you know, where it came from digital to the physical, and then to the digital again. So I think that that's going to be very, very fun. So what I'm going to do real quick is, if I can find my mouse. Where's my mouse? Okay, there we go. What I want to do is go into the one of the main images here. So here's the main rendering of what I have going on here, and this is a very, very simple conceptual rendering of the structure. I don't really have a specific name for it, but I've been calling it blended transformation, aka floating city towers, because the idea is, with the structure being essentially expanded up into a form, then it's been twisted, and then I've actually nestled the twisted buildings together, and therefore creating a space in the middle. So you're going to have over to the left you can see, say, building A, the right you'll see building B, and in the middle the shared space, which is going to be floating parks, other, you know, parking structures, things like that. That's going to be the shared space C, or central. And so you can kind of see some of the people on the balcony there. That's on level 4, which is technically level 3 in that building. What you don't see much of is the road, but down in the bottom right you can see where it says site plan. That is actually the bird's eye view showing the city block that would be floating in the center. I really like that idea, and this all came from just a 2-day studio essentially during the summertime. This is not necessarily for school, however the school inspired and showed me what I could do with Illustrator and a laser cutter in regards to architecture. So now I'm like, oh my god, I need to buy my own laser cutter, because until I go on site I'm actually going to be I'm not going to be as productive, because it's going to cost me a heck of a lot of money to actually produce the type of models that they can produce on site. I mean, they have like a $30,000 laser cutter, and it's like, are you freaking serious? So, so you can see a few different views there. And what I'll also do is bring up, let's see here, screen main. We'll bring up this PDF, which is the plan. Good thing you can see the mouse there. This is the bird-eye plan of floating city towers. You kind of enter through here where my mouse is. You would follow it along to the right. It's one giant traffic circle, spans over 4 city blocks, and even overlaps, you know, 8 city blocks, which is ridiculous. It is massive. But I had a theory, and I wanted to model this and to see if it would make sense. I have this concept for traffic and the way that pedestrians and traffic should interact with each other, because well, that's part of me being a studying architect, is to explore and question the way that we live today, is to, you know, are there better ways to do this? We always are in a rush to get from work, and there's traffic lights, and then there's bikes, and there's people walking their dogs, there's grandma going to the grocery store, you know, there's just stuff happening all the time around you. And so given a green or a more green city, that is to say one that is thought about circulation through the city, one that's thought about the placement of parks and the placement of buildings, so that way everything is fairly walkable. That's kind of the whole 2030 thing, is they want you to have these walkable cities, and they want you to have more parks, and they want you to have more civic art to interact with. Well, my concept, and this is going to be for all my master projects, is going to revolve around some kind of a rotating rotunda or curvilinear road. So you would be just like a standard traffic island. You go around. There's multiple levels here, so there's actually the road along the bottom. It's actually 270 degrees, and then it exits out just like that. Now there are one other place where you can outlet, which is here on this X line right there, because I figure someone might want to, you know, say you're just going to drop off someone. There's actually an internal transit. There's mini bridges to take you from one place to the other, so I figure you can drop off someone along the entrance, and then you could just leave on this side in case this other exit was to, say, Highway 101 or I-5 or something like that in the United States. So anyways, that's cool. What I'm going to do is actually be focusing on a few of these areas today. I'm working on exporting from Autocad to Rhino, from Rhino back to Autocad, and also from, say, Autocad to Sketchup, and Sketchup to Rhino. I mean, I'm just bouncing all around the place, because why not? And here's a rendering of the roof of that structure. Actually, let me go back to this. So you won't be able to see it from there. Let's go to pedestrian walkway. So in this view, you can actually see the people a lot bigger now on the rooftop there, or this pedestrian floor there. And you can see how big the people are compared to the trees. And this was conceptualized with the environment of Arizona or Texas in mind. Arizona being a place that doesn't get much rain, so to conserve water and reuse it as much as possible, this structure would do just that. It would take all of the gray water from this building. All of the, you know, sinks, bathtub water, everything except for toilet water would be all recycled through the building, because the building is going to have many levels of natural filtering. So as the building goes from like floor 34 all the way down to ground zero, the water that's been grayed and used is going to get filtered, recycled, and reused and pumped back up to the top of the building to reuse it again before it's eventually sent out to like a watershed or like a man-made pond of some kind. So that gives you a better idea. But in this view here, this is your left elevation. This is going to be like the roof peak, and in this Photoshop here, this is actually inside of one of those peaks, which is pretty badass actually. I don't know who this model is, but I found her online and I was like, you know what, I'm going to use it because I think she adds a little bit of mystery to the shot. This is a real rough comp. I'm using an alpha channel to cut out the everything outside of the rendering there. You can see the white bars. I'm using Maxwell Render to render that. I just used a wood floor image, masked all that stuff, just to get an idea like what would this look like if you were on this 34th floor on either building A or B, looking over this massive view of the city or desert or wherever you are. If you're just joining in on this video, again, my name is Phil Bailey, student of architecture at Academy of Arts, founder of Modern Masterpiece and AMA. Going over project Floating City Towers. Definitely stay tuned to the channel if you like what I'm saying or what you see. You want some tech tips, you want to learn a little bit about how I organize my digital files. I've been doing this stuff, well, man, since 1995 probably, when I first got into DOS. Anyways, back to the project. I could just imagine being up in this space and know what that might feel like. I've got a video clip showing taking the geometry that Autocad gave me with surface modeling and actually converting that into a more structurally sound geometric arrangement of these trusses and stuff, and that's exactly what you see here in this rendering. Is a lot cleaner lines. They just made more sense. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and open up I think AutoCAD actually and start looking at this floor. I've got a particular idea that I want to try, and I'm gonna switch it to screen and cam. There's my mic. Let me probably got a really ugly echo, but this is what we're going to be working on today. Feel free to leave comments because I know that this is going to sound horrible because of that freaking echo. And I think all I have to do is mute my computer sound. Give me 1 second. Mute. Mic check, mic check. Echo should be gone. That should sound awesome now. Okay. So this is actually the shape of the first floor, and this is, if I can get it in camera, this is just a real rough sketch of what I got going on here. And what I want to work on is this technically third or second floor inside of building A, which is going to be residential condos, apartments, all on the same floor. And there's also going to be some custom homes, because I think wouldn't it be nice to have a multi-use building that was paid for by the city and yada yada yada, recycle all this rainwater, yada yada yada, but instead of having someone say, here's, 1,000 square feet of yada yada. You can actually buy, say, this particular spot for $100,000, or you buy these top 2 floors because it's a la carte. And I want to be able to have a multi-use structure that people can schedule and buy specific pieces of retail within that building to own, rent, lease, whatever, instead of having everything be bought out and people can't afford it. I want to make something that everyone can enjoy. I mean, whatever happened to everybody's luxury and people just being happy because we have the most basic needs in life met? I mean, doesn't that just make more sense? I think so. So I'm going to be opening up this particular floor and separating the file out in AutoCAD, showing you how I work with external references, because literally each floor is its own AutoCAD file. That way I can say, hey, here's this floor, let's send it to, designer number 2. Designer number 2 can work on that floor, while designer number 3 and 5 may be working down here, and those are the forms or the main, of the floating parks. That way you have this master model, and then people can view this master model, and as the files get up to date online, it's going to say, hey, this floor number 2 needs to be up to date. You want to reload it? And then you say yes, and it actually shows you the progress of that building. So let me go ahead and open up the model in AutoCAD and show you guys that there. Shout out to Samsung for producing an awesome Note 4. Can't wait to get the Note 5. Definitely a pretty badass phone to do all my designer needs. So we're going to go into AutoCAD, we're going to open file, and I'm going to browse to this massive mess of Google Drive, Arc, projects, multi-use master planning, blended transformation. Now here's the part that I wanted to really have you guys pay attention to. And keep in mind too that this video is going to be however long, I have no idea, but what I will do is when the video actually populates on YouTube, I'm going to have links in the description that would be shortcuts. I might even have shortcuts embedded in the video that you can actually click to specific sections. So if this is going to get too long for you, there might be a section of this video that you can actually just click and get right to. I'm going to make it as easy as possible for you guys. I can get really passionate and talk a lot, and that's why this is just an ARCHIVLOG. I'm just doing my thing and figuring out to share it with you guys. So in this main project folder, blended transformation, I have XREF floors, screencast, digital scrap, and composite. And I also have blended city block master, twisted AI. I have twisted master, twist master RO. What that means really is blended city block master, you can see the preview there, that is the master model of everything. I'm going to go ahead and open that. I'm going to continue. It's going to load its thing. Hopefully the graphics turn out okay in the screencast here. It's going to load up all of its architectural business. One or more files cannot be located. The region and why it could be located. Let's just ignore that file. See if I can spot it. I'm guessing the rooftop structures can't be located, but that's okay. I don't really care. So you'll see a little bit of the keyboard stuff that I've got going on. I've got a macros keyboard by SteelSeries. It is actually I've got like above the F1 through 12 keys. I've got these macro keys there, and I've also got some keys there on the side that you can see. So I can program certain functions. I usually program special functions along these keys here, because if I know the command in AutoCAD to type, it's better to just have a single key launch that command. I'm going to go main screen, all. So just by, let me do clean screen. For those of you who don't know, the clean screen command is actually Control and 0, so let me go ahead and do that. Control 0, we've got a nice clean screen, perfect. So as I mouse over, you can see all these different floors highlighting. And you can see these floors over here. We've got the bottom level, floor 1, 2, and 3. This is tower A, this is tower B. And one thing that I noticed that I don't see here also is the floating city blocks. Let me type in xref real quick to see where this crap is. So we type in xref and it says files not found, 3rd floor, floor 34 roof. I'm going to try to reload, or let's see, attach, see if I can locate it here. Google Drive, Arc, I'm looking for floor 34 roof. So, projects, multi-use, yada yada, blending, extra floors, roof structure. So here we have roof. If I hit open, hit OK, it's gonna ask me attachment point. I'm just gonna place it there for now, but I don't see it anywhere, which is really weird. I don't know, that's just a floating line in the middle of nowhere. Alright. So, I don't know where that floor is, actually, and I don't know why it's not showing up here. Let me try this, actually. That's just one floor. That's the floor that I need, but it doesn't like that at all. So what I could do, because I really want to get that roof in there, actually, I'm going to remove or unload and then detach. I'm going to attach a drawing. I want to attach this floor. This floor is from Rhino. So let me attach this, and that's the floor only. Let me attach this one. There's the floor, but it doesn't look like it's in the right orientation. So what we'll do is do view, preset, top. There's a bird eye. xref, we're gonna do attach, roof. Now you can see it looks a lot more manageable. We'll just place it there, we'll select it, we'll hit move, M for move. I'm going to move it here. Zoom in a little bit. Snap it right to the corner of the building. Shift and the middle mouse key simulates or makes you rotate. Previous versions of this, I actually had these roof floors mirrored, and I don't like that because when I realized based on this Photoshop file, I realized if I've got tower A and B and I've got this shared space C, I don't want to have both rooftops be the same. I actually want to be able to have some separacy. I don't even know if that's a word. I want to have a way to have a unique rooftop for residential and a unique rooftop for the public space, because you know, after all, this is going to be a multi-use structure, so I want to have a really awesome view for the public as well. So I'm going to keep this roof as 1, and because I know that this is going to be tower B and that this is tower A, and I can see that tower A, I can extract all of those floors just fine. What I'm going to do is actually go into my, I'm going to go into this folder here, extra floors, roof structure. I'm going to go to floor 34 roof. I'm actually going to copy that, and I'm going to paste, and I'm going to call this copy what the new file hierarchy is going to be, which is, I have it written down here, it is capital FL 30 floor R, or roof, FL 30 floor roof, that was for walls. I don't have, okay, so let's see, we're gonna go let's see, BA FL 34, so BA FL 34, and then roof. That's going to be the new name, so that way I can identify building A's roof from building B's roof. So now that I have that, I'm going to go into AutoCAD here, go back into the top view, and I'm going to attach another file, and I'm going to attach now why don't I see it there? Something is, I think I know why. Okay. So that's what I need. I'm going to copy that because I think the system is being confused. That's the Google Drive folder. Portfolio, projects, boom, boom, extra floors, roof, structure. I mean, that is where it should be. See, that's what I don't understand. Ah, that's why. That's why. Because I actually copied the Rhino file. So what I need to do is locate the AutoCAD file, which is this AutoCAD. Okay, copy that, paste that. Okay, this is going to be capital building A now underscore FL and then 34 underscore roof. So now that I know that it's building A, it's floor 34 and it's roof. Okay, now I should be able to find it. So here in AutoCAD roof structure, killing me. So let me try this again. See if I can find it now. For some reason it is not freaking finding this file. What the hell? This is why computers frustrate me as much as I love them. Because it should be there and it's not there, and it's pissing me off. So cancel. I'm gonna close this, share, save changes. and I'm going to try to open that file by itself. And it's not there also. Okay, so this is why this is just a vlog, because for whatever reason it doesn't like that, even though it's it has something to do with Google Drive syncing, saving into Google Drive. And what I should probably do is open this floor, hit open. Okay. Save as. If I do save as, will that work? Let's try this. BAFL34 roof RF, and call this one beta, just so I can see if it works. AutoCAD 2013 file, save. Now open. Okay, so it's there now. So if I go into the main structure, master block there, continue, there's a ignore, update the location of the external references. I will just ignore it for now. Attach file. There's my beta floor. I'm in the top view. There we go. So now that I have it, what I need to do is rotate it around. So RO for rotate, enter or space bar, click a point to rotate about. Now it's loosely rotating, so I need to hit F8, because that's going to allow me to snap it specifically to a direction. That's where I got it. Now I'm going to move with the M key, take that corner, or I'm going to take that endpoint and actually snap it to this endpoint up here. And that was not a good enough snapping point. So move up, click there, move from there, snap to that corner to that corner. There we go. Perfect. Now I'm happy. Good. So change up the music here. I gotta get something to spice up my energy. Okay. So the bottom two floors are gone. So let's take, see this floor there. One thing to note is technically north would be through that way. That's going to be my north. So if that's north, this is a south facing building. Okay. So building A would actually be the south. The south side with Technica's. Let me actually look at this here from the top. It's kind of a good point, but so if this is north at this corner here, south would be this opposite corner. And if that's the south side, then all of these faces here would have south-facing views, technically, and all of these back faces, these smaller faces, would have south-facing views. So actually, that's not too bad at all, now that I think about it. Yeah. Because they're going to have their own respective south. Technically, they're going to have 360-degree views on most floors, actually. Alright. Kind of got distracted there for a second. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a floor. I need to see, let's see, where am I at here? I believe this is my building A because it is, okay. I'm getting a little bit tired. I might wrap it up here in a little bit, but I want to get to my main point, which is taking a floor, which we're going to use building A as the example. We're going to go over to, see, we've got the first two floors, which is technically 0, and then floor 1, so this is floor 2 and floor 3. And on my drawing I've got here, I've got 0, 1, and 2, which technically 0, 1, and 2, 0, 1, 2, and 3. They're all going to have their main sides cut. Okay. So then we're going to take here and here, so 0, 1, 2, 2, and 3. Start with this level. What we're going to do is rotate around so we can get an origin. And this is where it'd be nice to actually hide the other geometry. So we're going to take that particular shape, we're going to do export, and we're going to export it as a block DWG, which can be used in Google SketchUp, Rhino, and AutoCAD, obviously. And let's do export. It's going to be exported to extra floors. It's going to be, this is going to be part of core form, I believe. And then you've got ground level 0, which is an XREF. But what I also need to do is now make a folder and call it building A. And I need to make a folder for building B so that way I can really keep everything separate. Building B. So this is going on to building A, and the floor is called BA underscore FL. This is going to be floor 0, 1, 2, FL2. And this is going to be master because this is going to be the master floor of this building, meaning that the overall architecture of this one floor is going to be contained within this block. And we're going to export it as a as a block DWG. I haven't actually explored exporting as different file formats because I just don't know about it. I just haven't tested it. But now I need to choose a point for the insertion. So, like I said, just to make sure where I am, we've got ground level 0, 1, and 2, and we're going to go corner. So we actually want the main floor to be in this corner. Now it hides away. It's gone. So what we'll do now is actually open up that floor. Extra floors, core form, building A, BAFL2 master, open. Now here's that floor by itself, which is perfect because now I can actually figure out how big things are, and I'm actually going to be extracting every single wall so that way I can edit the walls with Rhino for the skin, and I can use parametric design for that, which is really awesome, where everything is dependent on something else. And then I can take all that stuff and laser cut it and actually apply it to the master model, which is why I want to create a main model. So as my design exploration increases for this particular project, I can take those individual floors, and what I could even do is just render out a to-scale model of this one floor a lot larger to get even more detail, which is a really cool thing to be able to do. So now that I have that, I'm going to view from the top. Perfect. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy this geometry over, and then I'm going to select everything, hit explode. Okay, and now you see that each individual face can be exported individually. Now I wonder what would happen if I did union. Can I union the surface? It looks like you can't, because it has to be a solid. So no worries there. I'll just export that face and I'll make it solid later. Okay. Now what I need to do is copy this floor. Technically, what I'm wanting is the bottom floor, because what I need to be able to do is explode one more time, and now I've got the outline of this floor here. So if I wanted to measure dist, I can measure from here to here, and it tells me that it's 38 feet, and from there to here is 65 feet. Okay, so that's one segment, and that's one segment there. And for the sake of this building, I was trying to analyze where would the core be, and that's where I've got this circle drawn there, just to see what would happen if I made a mounting see what happens if I. And just set up our drawing settings. Midpoint, quadrant, perpendicular, circle there. So diameter 15 foot. Let's do diameter at 15 foot. And say, what if that was the core of the building? That circular area. Okay. So, and what I'm also going to do is, under my layers, which hasn't loaded yet, LA. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So layers, what I need is another layer, and this layer is going to be geometry, and then there's going to be probably a layer of solids. So let's take all of this, put this up in that, put this on CH properties, put this on the layer of geometry, and then all of this, put that on the floor of solids. So now let's move this geometry to our origin. Move, we're gonna go origin to origin, snap that midpoint or corner to that one. There we go. Okay. So what I can do now is just for giggles, let me just do region, turn that circle into a region, and then extrude that up to just my 10-foot height. Okay. Just to see what would happen and where it actually shows up. Actually, what I'd want to do as well is let me copy this or do another circle there, a diameter of 15 feet, region another, alright. So if this is going to be floor number technically 0, 1, and 2. That's technically 3 out of 34. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this 32, or I'm going to make it 31. So I'm going to make it 310 feet. Alright. So there's that, 310 feet. I'm going to save this, and we're going to go back into our master model, city block master. Now I'm going to say, okay, city block master, X reference, I'm going to need to attach another floor. And we're going to attach core form, building a FL2 master. Where do we want to attach it? We're going to attach it with the attachment point here. Which actually doesn't work, so Z attach. Let's just put it there for now. Now let's move it. Oh, okay, I see what they did. I see what happened. So I need to select the top of the floor and put it into that corner. That makes more sense. Okay. So now you can see from this floor number 2, I've added this column there, 15-foot column that acts as an anchoring point for this building. It's not particularly very big at all. And what I could also do is take another point back here somewhere and throw that through the floor as well. Because now technically this cuts into all those floors. And the only way to know specifically how this would work is it's going to have to be after the fact. I'm going to have to know to cut out all of these different spaces here on this particular section. Cut out those spaces because the form is going to be there. So now what I'm going to do is go into getting so tired. That's why I got my good old Pepsi. Pepsi and Spotify. Okay. Now, like I said, there's that floor there. Now it's an external reference. Now that I know the general direction, the south is that way, or north is that way, so south would be this opposite corner, which the corner of the building would be exposed to. So technically, the short side would be a south-facing window or area, which is actually pretty cool. So if I took either this facade here or that facade, my drawing shows the right angle, and I'm cutting all this back here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go back into this file. So that's the roof. I'll close the roof for now. This is what I need right there. Alright. So, like I said, and this is going to be on the solid level, so CH, color, we're going to go solid. We're going to tell solid that we want it to be, say, this fuchsia color. Alright. So what I need to do now is take this entire floor and actually copy this, make it a block, and I'm going to call this block file backup. Now it's a block in case something happens. So we're going to explode. Now I've got individual sections of wall there. And so in my drawing I've got this as a divider between two sides. So what I could do is I'm just going to hide, let's see. Let's go ahead and hide solids for right now. Just utilize this geometry. I'm going to start with the line from there to there. It's not a straight line. It's actually a very non-straight line. And then from this to that same vertex. That way that's going to be my reference point for all the different segments. Okay. And thankfully this is all one section, which is pretty cool. And we already know that this is going to be some kind of a south-facing. So if I do list, it'll tell me the length of that, which is a 30-foot length. It's 30 feet 10. It's 30 feet 10 inches and 13/16. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually just dividing this floor here, and because this is not a perfectly straight line, it's actually pretty triangulated. It's pretty triangular actually, which makes it kind of nice that all the segments I'm going to make triangles out of, and that could help me to arrange the floor space inside of the structure. And I kind of know that this is going to be generally a south-facing side, and that maybe this would probably be a north-facing side then. So if someone wants a building or a condo in building A and they want a south-facing bedroom, probably going to make the bedroom in this area if they want a lot of natural light. So I want to see what happens, what kind of square footages can I create. Let me change my music again. I want some really cool songs here. Whoa. Let's see, what kind of, let's go to the station here. It's amazing the album art that these guys come up with. Okay. Yep, I like that song. Cool. Done. Alright. So, back to the drawing board. And technically that's going to go on to solids. Okay. I don't see any other segments yet. Those are all, okay, there's some segments there. Those two. Now, because I'm using AutoCAD architecture, one thing that I could do is I could do curtain wall, but before I do that, I have this vision of cutting open this floor with this vertex right there. And if I offset, because I don't even know where a elevator shaft would be if there were one. Part of me wants to make a giant elevator shaft in the center, because wouldn't that be kind of cool? You have this, okay, so let's see, diameter, let's just go with, so you've got this elevator shaft, and let's say 15 foot for now. That's where the elevator is. You get off the elevator, here's this main floor, because you can. Okay. The other thing to keep in mind is, with this floor having very little square footage, is this going to be more retail, or is it going to be more public, or what? Because the higher you go up, the more residential. The lower you are, the more commercial and retail. So if this was retail, let's just say, and if this was an elevator shaft at the center of the building, it is kind of a bit of a boring location. But since, but I feel like if I did do the central location, a 15-foot diameter, that gives you a 7 foot like a 7.5 foot to play with. I'm gonna have to really play with that idea, because to somehow have an elevator that could not only lift you up, could lift you up the floor, but then also rotate you to open at the specific point along this radii here, that to me sounds interesting, as opposed to, oh, here's this circular elevator. Because You know, yeah, maybe there are other residential floors, and maybe you have a floor shared with 2 people, divided by a courtyard. Well, wouldn't it be nice to have an elevator take you up to that floor, and then it will only open you up on the specific side that you have access to. So it would know that as the time that it goes up, it's going to actually rotate you to your floor. I'm going to run with that idea because I think that idea is one that's going to make this project work well. Okay, so pretend we've got this floor, and let's pretend that we did an offset of 7.5 feet from either side of this line. Automatically, because it's in the center and that line is parallel to the vertex, we actually get a nice 15-foot wide hallway that separates these 2 spaces. Now the question is, okay, depending on if this is retail or if it's commercial, if it is going to be, let's see, this is why a programmatic analysis is crucial, because with the programmatic analysis I would know for sure whether it was retail or not. I'm gonna trim that. There we go. So now I actually have a place to void this kind of hallway here, which is pretty nice because now I can put a balcony there, put the walls, I can put either glass or solid walls up to. Let's see, what am I going to do? I just need to get something. So I've got a potential elevator shaft, I've got a potential opening there. Okay. And then with the elevator, each floor might be slightly different, which the elevator is going to have to be intelligent to take advantage, to understand all the different geometries of the floors. Because if the elevator, say, you've got a view out of this corner, you're back here, you walk down, and there's an entrance on either side, or this is an entrance to a private sector, like the entrance of a hotel, for example. It could be a hotel, and there could be other pods around the structure that are elevators. As you triangulate the floors, there we go. That kind of sounds like a good idea. Triangulating the floors. Okay, that's good. So, how big is this square footage? This hallway. How big is the square footage? Because this could just be a public viewing, and depending on that pedestrian walkway, which is on level 3, that's gonna actually be all open air, which would be pretty badass. So let me just get some geometry here. Let me save it. Okay, because there's no curved walls, it's gonna make everything a lot easier. I'll break this wall there, expand it back to that wall, break this wall there, expand back to this wall, because I'm actually going to be making a balcony here just to simulate an open balcony. So what I'm going to do is select these 2 lines. I'm going to do railing, right click, apply to polyline. It doesn't actually like that. It wants it to be polyline, so PL, go from this point to this point, from that point to that point. Now right click, apply to polyline. There's our polyline. Erase the geometry. No. There's our railing. Very basic for right now. So if I turn back on solids, notice that this gets eaten up completely. So I'm going to have to actually erase these anyway. And take now you can kind of see what's going on here. All these walls are going to be I should actually export this one wall because let's see, this is going to be my vertice there. That's going to be 0. This is going to be wall 1. That's wall 2. Then that's going to be 3 and 4. So we're going to export that one wall so I can use it in Rhino to generate a cross. So we're going to do export, and we're going to export this as building A. The new protocol is going to be FL, this is FL2 underscore W, and this is going to be wall 2, because that's how I named this intersecting point is actually 0, just like the origin. Then you've got wall 1, wall 2, then you're going to go all the way around in a counterclockwise motion to get to wall 5 on this particular floor. So that's wall 2. And we're going to select a point for it. We're going to select the lower left point because that's going to be the floor that we're going to snap to. Now that floor is gone, and I don't think there's any other floor that I need to export. Maybe this one, and that floor is going to be 1, that's 2, that would have been 3, 4, technically this is like wall 9. Wall 9. Oops. And the base point of that is going to be the lower left. There. So I've got 2 walls exported. The other walls are going to be AutoCAD walls for right now. So I'm going to turn solids off. This railing is going to be on a new layer. I'm going to call this ARH, or I'm going to actually call this BIM for anything building model information related. Okay. So that is going to go on to BIM, which I'll actually keep BIM on. Okay. So there's that. There's that, and then there's this. So if I do curtain wall, apply properties to walls or faces. So I'm actually going to do first line work, erase, don't erase. However, it actually needs to be justified the other way. Not sure why the hell it did that, actually. Justify baseline. We want it to be justified to the right. Because the right actually justify left. See, until you're really professionally trained, it's all about fill. That's what it needs to be. Is it needs to be left justified, just like that. Come on. Yeah. Except I don't know why. that's the way that it should be there. And it goes like that there. So now I need to do another wall. And justify, I think is it shift? No, I don't know which one that is. We're gonna justify it left. Now it makes a nice corner like that. But the problem is, why does it keep making my floor base height? It's the 6-inch wall. Location, elevation says 20 feet. Starting. Yeah, no idea why it's trying to automatically make the floor go negative. If I turn on solids, they need to be up there. So then what I'm going to do is select these walls, actually delete the walls. I'm going to hide BIM because I actually need that, and I'm going to view from the top. Okay, I'm going to start from here. I'm going to create a wall, start from here, and I'm going to tell it justify left, or actually let me try it again. Justify, doesn't like it. What the hell? Artist tired, need sleep. Okay, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna create a wall. Start by just drawing the wall, point to point, period. But nothing shows up. Are you fucking serious? Oh, okay. I was about to say, are you serious right now? So that's justifying it with the baseline. And like I said, what I need it to be is, I need them to be justified on the right. So it falls inside of my Nice geometry there. So then I'm going to take another wall from there to here. And that needs to be justified to the right, so I can clean it nicely with the other wall. Okay, perfect. I'm going to save this. Get rid of that for now. More wall. From there to that point, from that point to that's going to be a tough spot because yeah, because that wall's going to meet the center. And then technically, if this is a polyline, no, I'll do that separate. I'll do that separate, okay. So, continue. Start from the quadrant to this point. And then it does seem natural that this would actually be, yeah, either just all glass or custom. And we're gonna take this all the way until we get to here. Which is an endpoint. So that and all the walls look pretty clean there, so if I do turn on BIM again, there's that balcony. If I turn on solids, what I'm going to need to do is get rid of this, get rid of that wall. I'm going to need to region this circle and extrude it up to 10 foot, because technically you're probably going to get rid of this. Probably going to get rid of that. But for right now, I'll move this from the center of this one to the center of this to pretend, what if that became the new elevator shaft? And then there's our height. So balcony. For that, these are going to be all commercial glass. I'm gonna get rid of, I want to select component, or actually isolate, which one? I guess first of all, if I put this on BIM layer, turn the BIM layer off. No, I can delete that. Let's turn the solids off. So there's solids. Okay, so how did I turn off that monitor? Freaking Samsung remote. Okay. So this is going to be pretty much an open face there. This is potentially an elevator shaft, or just something else. There's actual balcony there. And we're going to remove. So let's see, turn off BIM level. Get rid of that guy. And that one, since it's replaced with the BIM. Okay. So first things first. Let's make this wall curtain wall, and we're going to apply to walls. Curtain wall alignment. Let's do baseline of that one. Erase layout geometry. No. Actually, do that again. Curtain wall. Apply to walls. Let's do right aligned. And let's do yes, erase that geometry. Okay. So now we've got a nice commercial glass wall there. just pretend like those are solid walls for now. But if I take this, if I measure that out, doesn't really show anything. I really need to get that in a Rhino, and Rhino should separate the A wall versus, you know, the mullions and the glass glazing. I'm actually surprised at how the plot, PLOT for plot, 22 by 17, TWG PDF. Nah, I'm not liking it, so let's do more. Do wireframe maybe. That looks pretty cool because you can actually see the mullions a little bit better on that floor. If we do hidden, it's color and I don't quite like that, so we'll say legacy hidden, which is a lot cleaner. Okay, so we'll cancel that off. We'll hit save there. Here's the magic of AutoCAD, is when I go back into Blended City and it says reference has changed, you're going to reload that floor, and there's our new floor loaded in like that. It's beautiful. So now we can actually see this balcony and kind of see through that floor. Pretty cool. So I could theoretically go through this entire building and make all those different mullions. What I'm going to explore is using Rhino for this, because Rhino seems to have a lot better modeling capabilities for solid modeling, because I'm not opposed to BIM. I just think BIM is such a last step type of process. I don't think I should be worrying about BIM in my portfolio, because, well, I mean, I should probably watch what I'm saying here, but to clarify what I mean is, when you have building information modeling, it's telling you how many windows, how many doors, how many screws you're going to have, how many, you know, fire rated doors you're going to have. I don't really care at this point, because the building is not done, it's still a concept in the works, and what I'd like to do is explore what can I do with design, where I am in my level of design, with this particular project being the canvas of exploring the tools that I know. And therefore, I'm more interested in taking this three-dimensional form into Rhino, or Rhino with Grasshopper, or something like Gem, or SketchUp, and utilizing those tools to make the building look more like a building, so when I render it out, people can actually visualize it with me. Go ahead and go to Views and Preset Views, frontal third, but there's no floor there, so about this one. Visual style realistic. Let me go back. Let me actually see, you don't see my new floor in this view. So and part of that is it's like my X reference just freaking disappeared on me somehow. I don't know how it happened. Okay. XREF. Third floor master. BAFL. It says it's loaded. Reload it. I honestly don't know what just happened. So weird. It's like that view just fudged it all up. It's not anywhere in there. Now I'm a little irritated because I don't see why it would be frozen at all. Okay, so there's the floor now. But where's all my BIM at? That's what I want to know. Where's the freaking BIM, yo? FL2 master. And there's our central elevator shaft, which is actually pretty freaking cool looking in the center. But seriously, where are my floors that I just created? Oh, it's almost bedtime because, yeah, the floors are there. They're not frozen. Hidden geometry, shitting pedestrian and X lines. Ground level. Yeah, no idea why that's not showing up. It's really pissing me off. So, while I'm trying to figure that out, I have exported the wall. I'm not going to import it in Rhino because this is taking me too long already. I'm going to probably watch a movie pretty soon. And this was just a test anyway to see what kind of live broadcasting ability can I get out of YouTube with my new channel that's partnered. Yay. Yeah, I'm digging that circular shaft like that. I'm digging that elevator shaft. Like, I think that's gonna be legit. And literally, I need to figure out how in the hell did my floors get hidden, because they were just there. Makes no sense. Go back to my other floor real quick. It's still there. Let's view from the front. It's kind of a view of everything. Right. Exactly. Turn perspective off and thank you. So that's our massive elevator shaft. That is most likely, that's our nice short window. Yep, exactly. Okay. Slightly up. And that's gonna give us a decent view. Don't think you can really tell what's what though. That should be okay. I'm just gonna plot this down under the same folder. Next we have floors, core form, building A. This is going to be BAFL master, BLFA, opening and south window. Cool. View it at 100%. The lines are pretty clean. I think I can work with that. Cool. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Phil Bailey of Modern Masterpiece. This has just been a test ARCHIVLOG. It definitely wasn't structured by any means, just kind of me working away, trying to figure out and problem solve. So definitely stay tuned. Hopefully I'll have better background audio. I'll have a lot more to see as far as sketching to CAD, and I'll do some much shorter versions of this with exporting the floors, or going from Autocad to Rhino or Google Sketchup. That's gonna be a more regular process for me here, now that I've got good internet at home. Yay Comcast. Alright guys, Phil Bailey, and I am signing out.